for having us.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It is a real pleasure. So we'll just go around the room first with a check-in on how you're doing as things stand right now. Starting with you, James. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. We did Sheffield at the weekend, so that was a nice long drive up the M1. Got to experience the M1 for the first time, and all the fun with all of that. But yeah, it's been relaxing mostly today. I'm all good.
Don't feel too busy at the moment, right? Even though we are close, we're in the build right in the last bits.
I think it's kind of trying just to keep a lid on it all, really, isn't it? Because otherwise you can almost give too much away. I mean, part of me wants to say everything and be like, this is what's happening, but we want to do things right, and we want to make sure that we're mysterious, and we drop it in the right way. So yeah, trying to keep a secret has been difficult, but no, I'm excited.
Okie dokie. Sirin, how about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a long build up to be right about to release the EP. What's it been, like 2 years in the making or something?
We don't talk about how long it's been.
It's been a long time. So it's nice to finally feel like we're getting to that point where all the hard work's paying off. There's still a lot left to do, but we've got loads of prep in. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Is it starting to feel real?
Yes.
Yeah?
The other day I came home and I was like saying to Morgan how, it's fine, the stress is going to be over soon because the EP's out next week. And he's like, yeah, well, that's when the hard work starts. It's like, yeah, no, it's sinking in. It's feel real.
Good. And yourself, Morgan, how are you?
I'm all right. We've had an eventful month this month. We've had 3 shows, which is kind of more than our average, I'd say. And they've been good shows, actually, really, really good ones. So I think general happiness is at quite a high, because that, for me, that's very dependent on how many shows we're doing and how good the shows are, I guess. Yeah, release stuff is all encompassing right now. It's literally taking up most hours of my day. I'm constantly like replying to people and like emailing people and stuff like that, creating content. So I would say generally it's going well, but it's very thick, it's viscous. We're in the fucking thick of it now, Carl.
How is that part of releasing music when you're having to do all the behind the scenes stuff, as you say, the preparation, the reaching out to press contacts, particularly, of course, because you're doing it yourself. How are you finding that overall? Are you getting good responses?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've spent the last couple of years building connections with people, and people like yourself as well that we met at Bloodstock, I think, have solidified a kind of ground level connection, and those are the people who have responded and have given us positivity and feedback that we are kind of after, and also the ones who are providing us with like interviews and some reviews and features and things like that we need to just get a little bit more people to hear about it. And yeah, I think it's been pretty good, actually. We haven't had anyone be like, I don't like it, I'm not going to post it,
All the feedback seems to be really positive, which is nice given the amount of work that's gone into it.
But like I said, I've got a big ass list of everyone I've got to get through, and I've started with the people who we've already made friends with or that we've already worked with in the past. So I feel like I've given myself a bit of a boost to begin with, and now I've got to like message all the Instagram people like, hey, you don't know me, but maybe you could check out my EP and maybe repost it to your 100,000 followers or something. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, whatever you can do, just try and get as much attention on it as possible, because of course we are talking about Black Sun Sorcery out on June 7th, 2024. We're in the thick of the build towards the release. But before we get into the EP, I actually want to take you back. We've kind of danced around a little bit, but we spoke in person at Bloodstock last year when you played in the New Blood stage, an impressive feat, and for some, the highest level they may ever reach. Were you, and you can all have a go at this, immediately determined coming out of the fest to use that momentum and ensure that he didn't just become another band that played Bloodstock?
James?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I mentioned on site, it was my first festival. So like once you've reached that peak and you experience that community, you get a taste for it. You know what I mean? And like I remember yourselves and other people saying, so when's the next set of music coming out? And there was like, right, well, clearly there's a want for this. I think, you know, it's about that feeling real. And I think, I don't really think I mentioned it, that, you know, it kind of doesn't, it doesn't. And people are going, oh, this is amazing, this EP's sick. And I'm like, I'm thinking, you kind of, it's a bit humbling because you don't expect that response. You know what I mean? Our Bloodstock, we didn't expect the response we get. We were completely humbled by the amount of people that came to see us. And it's the same now coming out of it. It's just like, it's kind of a pinch yourself moment, right? But so, yeah, I mean, I want to be able to give back to the community that was so welcoming to me on site and made me feel so loved. So yeah, I've really wanted to hit the ground running with it.
You guys got anything to add there?
I might shed a tear actually, but
I think for me, it's not so much of a worrying if that's ever going to be the peak, because if anything, it was an honor to be invited to play Bloodstock in the first place, and I will never take that for granted because Bloodstock is home to us. We go every year and love it to pieces. But for me, and I think I could probably say for the rest of the band as well, we don't do it for climbing the steps. We do it because we love playing the music, and that always has to be the most present thing over where you're at in the stepping stones.
I don't think it's the peak. I hope not.
I hope not.
I think we've got a long journey to go on that we've just started. You know, I think Bloodstock is like, that was the first kickoff of things getting going, and now we're starting to play the bigger shows and the better stages, and we're starting to go further outside of the Southwest. Like James said, we did Sheffield on the weekend. That was sick. And we can do more of that stuff. We'll be well on our way, and the New Blood will be like, that's like the beginning of the new chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's like the beginning of the next bit that we're doing. That's what I feel like anyway.
It's a stepping stone, and well, it is, of course, as you said, Sirin, an honor to play Bloodstock. Ultimately, you did earn that right. It's what you've done and did up to that point that got you there, and now we get to see what comes next. We see where you're at now, which of course is the EP. If you can sum up then from Bloodstock 2023, speaking to you in August, to where we are now, May 2024, the end of May, in fact, 2024. Just sum up if you can, in a few words, what the last 8 months have been for Mirupa. James.
It's been a real growing process, and it's been a chance for us to become closer as a band. You know, we've really learned what makes each other tick. And actually, you know, I've said this to many people, we're actually all friends, Carl, believe it or not. We actually get on, and it's weird. These people that I make loud music with, I actually kind of like their company now and again as well. So it's been a real growing, and recording an EP can have its challenges. You know, you really want to get it right, especially from a drummer's perspective. You're on a clock because you can't sit in a studio for weeks getting every single snare and every single hit right. So there's a lot of stress and expectations to get that right, and anything you do. So it's been a real growing, and sort of like we've come a lot closer, I think, as a band, in terms of where we are as friends, but also where we are professionally and how we carry ourselves. And so I feel, I don't know about the other guys, I feel we've all grown massively since August.
I'll agree with that. I feel like the longer we've been in this lineup together, the better we learn how to communicate with each other and work together as both friends, but also as bandmates who have a goal or have goals that we want to achieve. But yeah,
we're learning how to operate in a professional metal industry, and there's a large difference between small local level bands and, you know, national level sensation. And I think we're on our way. You know, in the last year we've definitely moved up a couple of notches in that, and now we're asked to be playing places that we really want to go to, because we can play Bristol a million times over, but you're only ever going to get fans in Bristol if you do that. So I feel like we've been expanding, not just personally but also geographically. To, you know, that's a big key thing for me as well.
hit a bunch of new cities, meet a bunch of new people.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of people, sorry Carl, we had a lot of people that have helped us with that. Like, we had the chance to play with Burner this year, and Harry, and a lot of those guys have been really helpful. spent time with the guys from Tusker on site, and we can't sing Tyler's praises enough. It's about taking that next step into being, you know, that well-run unit, and being a nice bunch of people to be around, but also knowing where those lines are.
Do you think you have a clear path? Like, can you see the steps that you want to take, even as we look forward beyond the EP release?
I think there are certain things that I would really love to do, but whether those are the steps like that we're gonna take is another question. There are steps that I'd like to take. Like, I'd love to do stuff like Desert Fest or Incineration Fest or Arctangent or something like that, or go just play a show in Manchester. But I don't know if those are like our steps that are definitely going to happen.
I'd say there's definitely goals and aspirations to hit, but as for a clear path, like we're doing everything ourselves at the moment. It's all DIY, so it's very much a learning curve. But the fact that we've been able to make some really exciting contacts within the industry who are a bit more solid in their footing in terms of how to be in a band and get better has been really helpful for us, because they've been able to give us some really solid advice and pointers to know what to look out for. So the path is becoming less foggy, I would say, but we know where we want to go.
We have made a couple of mentorish kind of friends recently. Like James mentioned Tyler from Tusker.
Nicest dude in the world.
Yeah, he's funny as well.
Tyler.
He's funny as fuck. Also Black City Records, the guy who owns that, his name's Dave. Absolutely love that guy, and he's been giving us like little pieces of advice on things, and he's been helping us out with a couple of bits. And yeah, just a lot of people who've taken a bit of an interest and offered their helpful wisdom, because we're all quite young, you know what I mean? Like, we're all either early 30s or 20s. We don't have that much experience operating at this level in the industry, so like we said, we're still forging the path ourselves, maybe.
It's not like it's not constantly evolving as well. So if you meet people who've got their fingers on the pulse, as it were, yeah, you'd be a fool not to listen to and take advice that comes your way.
Sure.
Right, let's turn our attention to Black Sun Sorcery, and I guess I want to start with the big picture, the vision. Did you have one for what you wanted this EP initially to be? And if so, what did it kind of look like?
You're probably the best one to answer this one.
Maybe. The vision. Well, the vision, artistically, perhaps, to encapsulate the ultimate heaviness of the fucked up things that happen inside black holes. And the black sun is the kind of emblem of that. The black sun being like a metaphor for a black hole, in a way. And the vision being that I can describe these things within my lyrics and the descriptions of deep space entities and the way that they may be perceived. And then the other vision being, let's just make it as heavy as fuck in a couple of different ways. I think that was my vision. Let's not just do one type of heavy, like one type of heavy being like super death metal heavy or super black metal mighty or super deathcore chuggy or something. The vision being, let's do all of them in different points in the song and really fuck off our fan base.
I feel like everyone in the band has such a varied set of likes in terms of subgenres of metal, and it's nice that we've been able to kind of merge a bunch of different styles together whilst also trying to keep the songs flowing together in a coherent manner. It's exciting. It brings something a bit new, a bit different.
The vision being difficult to discern when you have three metalheads in the band that strongly lean towards the traditional side of metal and two metalheads in the band that lean more towards the kind of modern side of metal, like the core orientated side. And those two, you can clash from time to time, but I feel like we've managed to knit them together well.
Are any of the core kids in this room right now?
Well, I don't know if I would describe myself as a core kid.
No, not exclusively. Not exclusively.
I describe myself as a second gen metalhead. Like, my mum and my stepdad got me into metal from a very young age, so I definitely have the traditional roots. But because I was quite young when I first got into metal, the new stuff just excites me as well.
I wouldn't say that it's not black or white. I've very much categorized it in a black or white way. It's not the truth at all. Like James has been getting into Kublai Khan recently. Like he's a death metal kid at heart, but he's
Well,
down with some Kublai
you
Khan.
say that when you say death metal, what you mean is Fetus, Cannibal Corpse, and basically anything that I can just sort of like rip somebody's head off to, you know. I think in terms of what we want to do in terms of vision, though, what we pride ourselves on is our live show. Like that is what we've really got to the point where we're really happy where it's at. We wanted to emulate as much of the live show on the record. We want to be one of these bands that what you listen to on the EP and the weight that you feel in these riffs, you're then going to go see that and you're going to feel that weight in person as well. That's really what we wanted. So we really want these breakdowns to absolutely smash you when you hear them. And then the space in between to be a respite to then just hit you down again. And that doesn't change from stage and from in the box. So that was really important to us to make that cohesive.
This is the vision, but making it reality is two different things. So you obviously have quite a lot you want to do there. So was at the earlier stages, was it always going to be an EP, or did you have any points where the picture looked a bit bigger?
Initially, it was going to be an album. We have the material. We've got quite a lot of songs that are ready to go. But as we all work alongside being in the band as well, we wanted to make sure that we were putting out the best quality product that we could. Like James said, we want to be able to replicate that live energy within our recordings. And so it made sense for us both financially and to be able to create the best that we could to go with an EP instead. But there's more to come.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of money with the album.
Yeah.
I think we'd all love to be able to sit in the studio and really perfect it and really, but the goal for us really is we want to get it out there. We want to share it and we want to be able to people to come and enjoy it. So it was weighing up waiting an extra 6 months to do another 4 tracks or get the EP out, because what we heard from Bloodstock was, when is this coming out? The last thing you put out was Descent. When is the next? That's again and again and again. So it came down to realistically, actually, we want people to hear where the band is now. And then hopefully what we're hoping for, if it does do as well as we're hoping it's going to do, there will be ample space for us to then go and put more out. And we can know that we can also have a winning formula where we have the sound and the rawness that we want, and we can just go straight back in and rinse and repeat, because as Morgan said, the songs are there. We're writing constantly. We're always putting new songs in the set. It's about having just that little bit of financial gain to then put it to go into the studio to make sure it's absolutely spot on.
Sucks, it always comes back to money, but it is reality. You know that, I know that. Anybody that's listening to this knows that as well. The fact that you've even been able to put out something is already testament to what you've been able to do to this point. But sticking to the earliest points of its creation, I want to focus now on the creativity side of things, particularly what was driving your creativity and how you were able to channel that into what you ended up doing, the 4 tracks.
Channeling the creativity is a tricky one to dissect, because a number of things inspire people to be creative or just to write. For me, it's all about space, and I love writing about space stuff. I have a couple of good books which are useful. I have a couple of space books. But in terms of like engineering the creativity, manifesting it is mainly a process that happens in the room that me and Sirin are in now, and I will come up with a skeleton structure for a song with parts written for most instruments, with the exception of drums, which has to be done together because I'm not good at writing drum parts on my ones. And then it'll kind of mutate over a longer period of time when we bring it into the practice room. And
skeleton.
Yeah, we'll kind of put the meat in to the skeleton, as it were,
and collaborate together to give it the tweaks and make it into the final product.
Yeah, but you're asking specifically about the creativity of the EP. I would say that it's basically that process, but we are talking about maybe 3 or 4 years ago that these songs are written, and they've been evolving ever since. And I think we didn't stop editing, for example, like Necrochasm until maybe last year or something. So we're talking about 3 years of development with a single song.
One thing I do love about the development of these songs, though, is we'll have our general writing method of Morgan makes a skeleton, we all put our own influences into it to try and create a full song. But then we always test them out live. We see what goes well with the crowd, what bits work well, what bits don't work so well, and so we can tweak them a little bit more until we get the product that we've got now, which is hopefully something that people will really enjoy.
It's an interesting tactic to experiment on a live crowd with songs, but I like it. I like it because you know when the energy drops because you can feel it, or you know when the energy is up because you can feel it a lot better. It's hard to be objective sometimes, even in a rehearsal room, even if you're with, 4 people that you tweak songs with all the time.
Obviously, you asking you to cast your mind back to the earliest point of these creative, this creation is a big ask on my part, but I'm going to continue to try and pick away at this because I want to focus on what you said there. So basic skeleton of these tracks, take all of them in one here, all 4 tracks. How far removed from that basic skeleton are these final products?
It depends on the song. Some songs are more complete, fresh out of my room, this room here. Sometimes I'll write a song and I feel like it will need less editing, but sometimes it needs people to write different parts for it, and it kind of, it goes further along the evolutionary line. I'm sure James has some things he wouldn't mind chipping in with this.
I think ultimately, right, I think from my perspective, I want to play songs that I actually enjoy playing. I've heard about many musicians that write songs and they get sick of them. And take last year's headliners, Meshuggah, right? They don't play their biggest track because they're sick of it. They are sick of playing it. I don't want to get to that point when I'm playing a song and I'm sick of it, right? So I think we spend a lot of time playing the songs, and it will just sometimes be in a rehearsal, just like, do you know what, actually I'm really fatiguing of hearing that myself. So if I'm fatiguing of it and I've not even released it, the audience is going to fatigue of it. So Black Sun Sorcery, there is a section in the song we play only live, and there is a section that is only on the EP. Not a massive change, it's just a bit's removed and it's cut earlier in the EP because it only works, that section, with a live crowd. It only works with the interaction we can do, because one thing that I personally am not a massive fan of is I don't like doing interaction on an EP because there's no audience there. So there are some bands that like to do call outs and stuff on an EP. That's not personally what I enjoy. So I was like, well, if we're not going to do that on the track, that section that is then fed off that should not appear on that track. It should be saved as something that you go and see the song live and you go, oh my God, they've then done this surprise. I've always remembered when I've seen a band live and they've suddenly done a drop back into a riff I wasn't expecting because I'm used to the song on record. I've just gone bang, do you know what I mean? Like, or you've linked songs together, or you've done something a different way. It makes it fresh, and it also encourages people to come see it live, more to the point, because you're going to get that slightly fresher and slightly tailored experience. And then the EP is like, right, this is how it sounds best in this format. And then so that's how some have changed, in my opinion. And it's about really, making songs flexible in that way, and that goes into how we order them and everything we do. You have to be adaptable now in a live scene. You can't just go, this is the song, we're going to play it exactly this way, this tempo, this tone, every single show, because for me, I would get bored of that very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, wholeheartedly agree. I love variations on tracks in a live environment. It's just freshen things. But I will say, you say you're tired, but if you ended up getting a track that was your ace of spades, for want of a better word, and that brought with it the, popularity and money of ace of spades, you're going to keep playing it, right?
Yes, I think we would. But it's also partially out of respect for the audience and the crowd, because there's always going to be someone in the room who are perhaps seeing you for the first time and they're really hoping to get that song that made them fall in love with the band in the first place. And I wouldn't want to take that away from someone. Granted, over time, it might reduce the number of songs, but you'd still want to keep those core ones in there because it's for the crowd, not for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the ebb and flow, isn't it? I mean, I go through different bands where sometimes I'll really like a certain like Death is who I'm listening to a lot at the moment, and I'm really into old school Death at the moment. Now there was a time in my life where I was really into Sound of Perseverance, really into all of that. So I think it's just being aware that you're going to have to play some songs again and again. But I still really enjoy all of the songs that we play, despite the fact I play them the same way every time. If I'm finding myself that I'm actually moshing along while playing, that's a sign that the song is strong enough that I still enjoy it. Even though I know it's coming every single time, it still pushes me to want to be involved with it. And when I hear it on record, I'm like, I know a massive drop's coming or a massive breakdown's coming, and I'm still spin kicking in my kitchen when I hear it, listening back to the master, because it invokes that very primal reaction, and that's what I think is the key when you're writing a song. It has to do that to you, and then hopefully it does that to the audience.
Oh yeah, and that'll translate on stage. If you haven't missed my last time up there, we're going to notice. Okay, let's go around the room. We'll start with you, Morgan. I want you to tell me what has been the most satisfying aspect of making this EP a reality.
The most satisfying aspect. Ooh. I think for me personally, as the, I would say, primary writer, is hearing the songs manifest into something tangible rather than a bedroom idea. The transmutation from ideas that we all kind of play at the same time to a recorded, polished product. I think that's the most satisfying aspect for me. It is the actual music itself, is the actual song and the song's development. And when you get those masters back for the first time, you know, it's just amazing to hear everything when it's all completed and all the parts are correct, everything's in time, it's all been mixed well. You've heard all of the bits and bobs that have gone wrong over the course of the recording process, and now it's all. I think maybe that's just like, maybe it might be an autistic thing, but it just gets me right there, you know?
That's cool. How about you, sir?
For me, it comes down to two parts. I definitely have to agree with Morgan with the getting the masters back, like the final versions for the first time. That's always going to be really exciting with any release. But I think perhaps the primary thing for me was the days that we actually first started getting into the studio, because it had been such a long build up of like, right, is it going to be an album? Is it going to be an EP? There's so much planning and work that had gone into it beforehand. And to finally be like, right, we're doing it now, like it's actually happening, it was such an exciting moment for me. Like, I've recorded in the past with previous projects, but this is like the first metal project, which is always going to have my heart. So yeah, really, really exciting moment.
And you, James?
The most satisfying for me is the collaboration process in general. We were very selective with who we worked with for a very good reason, and actually working with those people were very. So we got to work with Cray, who is a Liquid States guitarist and has produced many other projects that escape me now. A personal thing for me is we got it mixed by Winter Pryor, Sphinx Studios, who is a close friend and I've worked with before, and to have him mix my music and it come out that good, it's nice. It's nice to be able to collaborate with people and collaborate with friends, and that's what the industry is all about. And then even from that, doing an EP, doing a video with Ali, Life Well Productions, who's a friend of ours as well. So that collaboration aspect was really satisfying for me, because it's not just about us, it's about being able to help out other aspects of the industry and other people, and being able to give them work and shout them out as well.
Well put. Back around the room, continuing this, starting new though. We'll start with you directly, James, and we'll go backwards this time. What do you want, or what do you hope listeners take away from the record?
I want listeners to really be able to take away sort of the labor of love that's gone into, to feel the labor of love in the record, and take away that actually there's a lot of what we go through in there. It may be hidden in deep metaphorical and space meanings, but it is full of deep meaning in what everyone goes through. I want people to be able to identify with the lyrics and identify with the subject matter and relate it to them. And ultimately, I want people to be able to say to me, your album has done me some good. That's, I think, the goal of any musician in this industry, is you want to be able to impact people positively and make a real difference in people's lives.
I really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's part of like people feeling the energy and the love that you've put into it. Like James worded that really, really well. If someone can listen to our EP and get as hyped as we were, or as we still are rather, about it, and feel that energy, that's a good moment.
Can you remind me of the original question? Because I was thinking about James's response. Sorry.
So, right. What do you hope listeners take away from the release?
Well, I hope they take away that it's fucking sick EP. That's my primary hope, is they're going, whoa. They go, yeah. I think that, like, for people to take something away, anything positive is obviously very uplifting, like it's already been said. I hope that it is thought-provoking in some kind of sense, and they do consider how fucking heavy space is and how dense a black hole is, for example, or how spooky and malevolent these dark entities are that that could crush the solar system in an instant, kind of thing. And for me, that's always going to be heavier than anything on Earth. So I would like people to perhaps just consider that fact, or consider just, doing a bit of digging and find out a bit more about the things that crop up in the writing, maybe, or gaze longingly at the artwork, wishing for decimation. I don't know.
Spooky space.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I get the impression, speaking to you three here, that overall, and I just overall talking of Moon Reaper as a whole, that it means a hell of a lot to you all personally to actually get this release out.
100%.
That's a fair assumption.
There's been
Yeah.
a lot of like love and rawness has gone into this in the making. But yeah, no, it means a lot to all of us.
James, what did you want to say, dude?
It's a major part of our lives, and I think to pretend it's, I mean, I put out, I actually wasn't playing my instrument before the competition. I'd basically put the sticks down and gone, I'm gonna domesticate myself and get a 9 to 5. So actually, this is a huge lease of life for me personally. I know for Aidan as well, Aidan has his 9 to 5, and this is his release. So it is very much, it's very important to both of us as the older members, or I'll say experience rather than older, that we can live authentically in all aspects of what we do. We can't go into an office job. We're not blessed enough to be able to wear metal t-shirts in an office job. So this is our outlet. And I think we're very keen on that passing on to the listener, because it is, if you speak to us at shows or if you see us, it is genuinely how we feel. We're in love with the genre and the community built around it. I mean, Aidan's gone to Bloodstock for all of them since 2016, I believe.
Before that, mate.
Or before that. So for him to play on the New Blood was a massive, massive moment for him to basically reach that and be able to play on the stage that he's basically seen multiple times was huge. So yeah, it's a lifeblood for a lot of us, definitely.
I think for me as well, it has the addition of being cathartic within the writing process, and I'm sure a lot of songwriters will tell you that the catharsis is in the writing itself, but maybe even more in the lyrics or in the kind of the guitar creation. I feel like that's something that is very emotive in general. So perhaps it is shrouded in space and space stuff, or cosmic annihilation, but there is some kind of applicable meaning to it that can be taken out. And yeah, I think it's all a very moving process, isn't it? And it's a creation that's gonna last. It's not like you get a shit job for a couple of years and it's like a period of your life you never get back. This is a thing. This will be a tangible digital product that will be there for a long time, until the internet dies and we all go back to being cavemen or something. But this is going to be one of those achievements that I will always hold in high regard. And I could argue about that with Descent, but Descent, in comparison to Black Sun Sorcery, feels a little incomplete in terms of the fact that I tracked about 80% of all of the parts myself because I didn't really have a band. Well, I didn't have a band. And I felt like I was rushing to get something out, perhaps. So I think I could have. I was also younger as well. So, but this time I feel like we've done it properly. You know.
There's been a lot of work that's gone into it. Like, we live and breathe this band. It is everything to us. Me and Morgan both work part-time just so that we can fuel the band with the rest of our time. But it's really nice to be getting to this stage where it's about to come out now. Like,
yeah, it's culminating. This is the culmination. We are in the culmination with you right now, Carl. This is it.
culmination.
We are indeed, but it's not like it ends there. We get to the 7th of June, and that is just the latest step on your path. So the question is basically what comes next? I don't mean necessarily list me releases or plans or anything like that, but give me an overview of what you would like to, what you're aiming or looking to do before the end of 2024 and what 2025 might look like roughly.
I think, for me at least, I want to hit as many new cities as we can and just get out there, network with new bands, meet new people, both within the industry and just lovers of metal. And I think this EP will provide a really good opportunity for us to do that, hopefully. 2025, we will see. There might be some plans coming underway, but for this year, it's just about getting as many live shows in as we can, push the EP, meet new people.
James?
It's very much we've done like Descent was toes in the water, right? This is now we're taking a jump, and it's very nice to hear people say that they like it, but the goal is really we want this EP to slap hard enough where people pay attention to it and people want to talk to us, and that means we can consider taking the next step and taking a bit less time in the 9 to 5 and more in doing the shows. So that is really where I want to go. In terms of 2025, I mean, I would ask Simon Hall about that. He seemed pretty impressed at the weekend, but I'm not gonna say anything else on that. But you know, I wouldn't mind an email from Simon. You know, it wouldn't ruin my day if he sent me an email. Do you know, I would be quite. I would like a conversation. That's all I'm saying. Just even just a hi, how are you?
James,
How's the wife? You know,
we need to put the work in with the live shows.
Well, for 2025, I would like to get back in the studio. The mistake that we made last time, perhaps, is that we left it so long. We got focused on, like James said, perfecting the live show, and all of a sudden, it's been 3 years already, or 2 years since we released anything, and there's a very daunting task to begin that process, and it does take time. So I think it would be advantageous to us ultimately to keep the ball rolling with the recording processes and for us to get back there, whether we do, you know, a couple tracks, another EP or an album. It's something, isn't it? And it's something that will hopefully satiate the desires of all the new fans that we're about to make, hopefully.
Sure. I feel like with any stepping stone, be it playing Bloodstock or releasing an EP, there's somewhat of a pressure to ride that wave. But if anything, you could be daunted by it, or you can use that as motivation to drive you further, and that's a really cool prospect, I think.
I have ultimate faith in you guys to continue to push on based off what I know and what I've heard of the EP. It feels big. It just feels big. It feels big to me. It felt very, very big to me. We're at 40 minutes in, but we're not quite done yet. This is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are randomized questions of everything and anything, including many submissions from bands and artists we've spoken to over the past year. I'm going to pull some at random and pick your names and throw the questions at you. Yeah, be good for this.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, speaking of which, Matt, the vocalist of the Australian band Haraway, asks, where is the best pizza spot, James? Let's go with you for this one, James. The best pizza spot.
I mean, America takes the cake for pizza, and I might get a lot of flack for that, but America does take the cake for pizza. And I think I honestly really enjoyed New York pizza, and I might get crucified for this, but I can't. I think it was like Little Joe's or something on like the corner of Times Square or something. Actually, getting like a $2 pizza slice and then just completely being like that big and just munching it down. Why would I get a Domino's? It's like 3 times the price when I can get a slice and just smash it down. So yeah, New York for me.
Fair enough. It is a point of contention for everyone, but it is each to our own. All right, let's do you next, Morgan. In your opinion, what is the coolest thing you own?
I own.
Yeah, the coolest thing that you think you own.
Oh, you know what? You know what, Carl? That's a toughie. You know, that's not fair, man. Maybe.
Okay.
All right.
If
No,
you're-
I got. I'm getting
All
there.
right.
I'm getting there. Maybe my guitar. My guitar is pretty fucking cool. I'm not just saying that like going in a band. No, my guitar is sick.
You have a piece of the moon downstairs.
Okay. Are we talking about that?
No,
I
it's
guess
just-
we got our wedding rings today.
Mhm.
And they have bits of moon in and also bits of meteorite. So that's pretty cool. That's up there. But you're asking me to choose between two things here, you know.
It's not he's struggling. He just thinks that everything he owns is cool. So how does he
mean-
pick one thing when everything he touches is gold dust, Carl? Like how does he pick?
This is true.
I actually don't like that question. I might remove it in future, just because when you're talking to musicians, there's always an expectation outside of a vocalist who, you know, might necessarily mention a microphone, that a guitarist is going to mention the guitars, a bass is going to mention the bass, and a drummer is probably going to mention some form of their kit.
Oh no, the coolest thing I own is an original 1980s Suffocation LP. 100%.
Okay.
Bollocks to my drum kit. I've got death metal vinyl from America. And I'm going to sit and be a nerd all day.
All right, Sirin, who's a vocalist you simply love listening to? And this can be from any genre in the world. It's not going to be specified to metal. It can be from any aspect. Just someone that you just blown away by.
My gut reaction to that question brings me to the vocalist of Igor, the female. I don't know her name, but she is incredible, from harsh vocals to like really big operatic sections. And we got to see them live once, and I was worried they wouldn't be able to pull off what they do on the album, but they blew me away. Phenomenal, both live and recorded.
Yeah, I've never seen them live, but they're playing Bloodstock this year, so that's probably when I'm going to see them. Yeah.
Mate,
Catch
go
them.
and see them.
Catch them.
Yeah?
I
Go and
was
see them.
blown away by them. They are incredible.
Woo. All right, James. What is something you just find so boring, but others tend to love?
Lord of the Rings.
No, no. Don't start this argument. Do not start this argument. Lord of the Rings is an absolute treasure, and that is not my answer because Lord of the
I
Rings...
simply coughed. It was a simple cough.
It was a weird one.
Sorry.
I don't get the obsession that some people have with mowing their lawn. I've never understood that, especially people that go full hog and have like ride-on mowers. It's just, dude, just fucking cut the grass, dude. It's if anything, it's a nuisance. I would have a turf if I could. Not the TEARF, a TURF, just to be very clear on that.
Yep.
I would not have about cutting mowing. It's just a pain in the ass. It's another thing to do that I don't want to do.
Just let your garden go wild.
Go wild garden, a forest.
No, you're all right. Some people do love that. All right, back to you, Morgan. What's a useless talent you have?
A useless talent.
Songwriting.
Oh, Carl. Oh,
Biggest thing.
James. Oh, right, Carl. Observe. Thumb.
I wasn't about the other one where you
It's
can
crazy.
swap the fingers.
Oh yeah, I can also do this thing, which people like just can't do.
Okay.
Look, give it a go. You won't be able to do it like that, and then just swap them over.
Oh, I see. So yeah, your indexing is small, and you switch.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're right. I can't. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Useless, but kind of impressive.
And of a child of a certain age, absolutely thoroughly entertaining.
Thank you.
So, what's something you would like to understand better?
My job.
Yeah. Okay.
Just started a new job,
Elaborate.
and there is a lot to take in. I love it, It's great. I'm working for the NHS now,
Mhm.
but there is a lot to learn, a lot of departments. So
Absolutely. Okay, right. James, from the Dirty Denims, a rock band from Denmark. Who is the most famous person you've met, and were they nice?
The most famous I've met
Mm.
is Thomas from Meshuggah, and this is probably because he just come off stage. But no, he was very dismissive and didn't really have any time for people. But I'm gonna give him a pass because I think having just done what they did, I would probably be absolutely floored, and he was probably just a little bit tired. So
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, there are times when you can forgive it almost. You may not love it, but ultimately you go, you know what, like, on reflection, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Morgan, what is your favorite musical? And this can be film or stage.
Favorite musical? Oh no, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
So I fucking hate all musicals. So I would say that they're all on an equal plane. So that's a good answer, right?
No, you can't leave it that way. You can't hate all musicals. There's got to be at least one that's not as bad as the rest.
can you name a musical?
Nah. No, I'm sorry, that's a no-go.
You're asking all the
That's
culture
wrong.
questions to the man that doesn't like
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. Of course, he doesn't listen to fucking
I'm
musicals
uncultured.
either.
I'm just a swine, you know. You may as well not bother with the musical. I'm sure James loves musicals. He's got like 10.
It is randomized, but then I'm going to ask then both James and Sirin if you wouldn't mind. Give me not only your favorite musical, film, or stage, but also what you think Morgan's should be or could be.
I'm also not much of a musical person.
This is
You've seen a Disney film back in the day.
Yeah,
They'll
count
count.
as a musical?
Yeah, I mean there's songs galore, right?
James, do you want to answer?
My favorite I've generally my favorite's Phantom of the Opera, and if anyone's not seen Phantom of the Opera in London, they should go. I think Morgan would really enjoy Sweeney Todd because it's just that level of violence and like darkness that actually he would really enjoy.
But it's a musical, so they sing dumb songs, right?
No, not necessarily. When's the metal musical coming out? That's what I want to know. When's like the Cannibal Corpse musical?
Yeah, I would watch Cannibal Corpse the musical.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately you got a Meatloaf one that can kind of.
Ooh, I know my answer. Sorry to interrupt. I know it's
go on.
the Pick of Destiny.
Oh, I should have gone with that.
I remember now. Yes, I take back every. I love musicals as long as they're only metal musicals.
We'll take it. You've got one. All right, we're going to do one more round, and then we're going to call it for tonight. Right, coming back to you, James. What's a current trend in the world that you would like to see disappear?
A current trend that I would like to see disappear. Oh, there's so much. I hate so much about the modern world. Do you know what? I'm going to be an old fogey. The amount that people spend on their phones and reliance on phone culture. Okay. We don't talk to each other enough anymore, and I'm going to stop before I rant.
How do we fix that, though? I'm going to ask you. How do you fix that?
I think it's just like I'm also not a fan of people that like spend like we do social media at shows, right? Mm-hmm. But I will do like a 30-second clip and then put my phone away. Right. Like the clip is purely from our perspective, or maybe from mine. I'm filming the band to shout them out on our socials because they played the show and they get as much love as we should, right? I'm not going to sit there and film the whole set and then go and then put that all on our social media. It's just like, we're at the show. This is one of the bands also playing. I'm now going to enjoy the show and, you know, mosh out to it rather than sat there just like that. I've enjoyed the show and I've now got it on my phone. So I filmed like 2 sets of Bloodstock, I think. And that was aspects of it. And one of those was crowd surfing the Guitarist, and that was just for me. So I could say I've done it and I could prove to my wife, look what I did in a random field in Derby. I crowd surfed a Guitarist, and she's there like, who are Guitarist and why do you think I care?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's well, you're not changing it.
No.
Unfortunately, right, Morgan, for you, who embodies the rock star term? So you think rock star, who would you point at?
Rock star?
What that term means, you know, that larger than life.
Well, the person who I would associate the rock star image with most would be Lemmy Kilmister, 100%. But my first experience of witnessing or being being made familiar with a rock star would be Hendrix. But I would say quintessentially Lemmy. In fact, he probably fucking wrote the definition. Let's be real. And you know, it's just all, you know, the party, like pure partying, like fucking shows every night. You know, no earplugs on stage. Like some of it's really dumb. Some of it's really dumb. But the man is a legend, and you cannot say otherwise. So was a legend, I should say. But he's low-key immortal, so you know.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, we got a snake called Lemmy.
Oh, cool. No arguments there from anyone, right? We're all in agreement. All right, Sirin, what's a song that will always get you in a pit?
Oh.
It will always get you in a pit.
Yeah.
I quite like being ringside of the pit because that's where you get to see all the action go down. I'd probably have to say anything by Malevolence because they just hit so hard.
Yeah.
I want to see Black Tongue start doing more live shows again because love them to pieces, and that would definitely get me. They're gonna do it. Don't kill my hope. End you.
Never say never when it comes to this. Right, we're going to do one more, but it's for everyone to answer, just because I'm quite intrigued to see everyone's answering this. It's always one of my favorites. So, James, what's a fandom that just frightens you a little bit? And the rest of you guys can ever think.
A fandom that frightens me is anyone that listens to Knock Loose, because I'm frightened that I'm frightened that they think that's acceptable. Frankly,
Shut up.
That is some controversial stuff. That is the most controversial thing said all year.
Yes, I did it
for the band in that respect. We love Knock Loose.
For me, the fandom that disturbs me and scares me is, for sure, people who like fucking musicals.
Fuck's sake.
What about it is so? I'm sorry.
There is not enough time to educate you. There's literally not enough time.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. What is so? It's just sing like a shit song, and then you lose some of the movie. And then they all go back and they're like, oh, fucking back to the scene then. I'll just carry on acting like nothing ever happened. It's like, what?
Sirin's just having a complex that two of her bandmates have said two, frankly, unforgivable things. She's like, how do I save this so we just don't get ignored?
I love this particular one when it comes out purely because there's no wrong answers, and ultimately you're inevitably upset. You know, I've had people slam Lord of the Rings fans. I've had people slam Star Wars fans. You know, it's the usual thing, just that crazy ass fandom. So, Sirin, do you have one?
A fandom, a group of people who like something that you don't like.
Pop,
How do you get weird about it?
Music.
Yeah, she doesn't like rap.
I can't get my head around it.
All right.
Elements of like old school hip hop that I can vibe with.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes, it's more to do with like the melody in the background. Anyway, rap, I just don't like it. He's been trying to get me into it for God knows how long.
Can I just raise a point here? I haven't been trying to get her into it. Sometimes I play a single rap song. Sometimes, like once every fucking season, and then she'd be like, "What is that? Fucking turn that shit off." Like a single, and it's also like it's like OG stuff like Dr. Dre. It's like Dr. Dre or something like that, or fucking Ice Cube, and she's like,
It's not got riffs.
Old school that came out in the 90s, but we'll just ignore that for the old people in the room. The old school 90s, I remember.
Dude, so it's 90s death metal, not old school death metal.
Not compared to 80s, it's not. No.
Oh, you're gonna be like that. You're gonna be like that. I see.
This I was at Slam Dunk this past weekend, and the All American Rejects were playing. Have you heard of them?
They're my dirty little secret.
Yes, and there are a lot of younger people than me talking about how they're getting all nostalgic over that band. And these people are 10, 15 years younger than me, getting nostalgic about a band that I was a teenager during the height of their existence. There are times like that when you just feel far too bloody old. So there we go. But you know what we're not too old for? To enjoy what you guys have done with Black Sun Sorcery, which is out, of course, to remind everyone, on the 7th of June, 2024. Guys, I really appreciate the amount of time you've given me here. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having us.
Cheers,
It's been
Carl.
a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.